The Play Absolutely podcast with Dr. Sue Jennings and Dr. Andy Hickson. Hello and welcome to the Play Absolutely podcast. Oh, that was a bit weird. I might redo that. No,
Okay.
hey ho, it is what it is. Yeah, the Play Absolutely podcast. How are you doing, Sue?
Good to see you, Andy. Yes, I'm okay. I am okay.
Okay.
Enjoying sunny weather, which is good.
Yeah. There's a nice short-sleeved shirt for me, and
Also
playing
to say,
outside in the weather.
just to show you
Yeah.
my Daisy Play T-shirt.
Hey, Daisy Play,
Yes.
and your T-shirt's playing with your microphone and going.
Is it? Oh
It
dear.
was, yeah.
Well, I've got more
Yeah.
to say about Daisy Play just when we
Daisy Play.
talk. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's go there. Let's tell us about Daisy Play.
Well, Daisy Play just occurred to me in my sleep, and I woke up and I thought, we're all talking about play therapy and therapeutic play. What can play do? And no one's talking about just play on its own. And I get mums and dads saying, oh, I don't have time, or I can't remember, or I haven't forgotten, or kids don't like nursery rhymes anymore, and all of these things. And I thought, okay, let's start a project specifically for parents or any other adult who wants to come, reminding them how to play again.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very economical course online, no assessment,
Okay.
either in or out. It is just a time to play together and to remember how to play. It's called Daisy Play because I think the idea of daisies are light-hearted, and the idea of daisy chains. And of course, you could lead on from daisy chains to buttercups. Remember holding a buttercup under your chin? And if it shines yellow, that means you like butter.
Indeed. My
And
children
so on.
still do that.
But a lot of people have forgotten. And they think, oh, it's all technology now, and, another video game, and give a child an iPad and they'll keep quiet, and so on. So Daisy Play is promoting active play for grown-ups.
I like how you started it by calling it Just Play. It's a play on the Nike phrase, isn't it? Where they go, just do it. The Nike brand. So, yeah, just play. Yeah. Okay. And that's quite in tune, isn't it? All with, the sort of the internet and AI and social media and so on at the moment, that children are often left to babysit with, or the AI has left to babysit many children now, that the British government are just introducing a ban on social media for under 16s.
Yes, that's a huge step forward, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not many things that I agree with the powers that be, but yes, I think a ban on social media for under 16s, I think that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Maybe if I was 15 years old, I might think differently about that, though. Yeah.
Yes, it's interesting that some schools have already implemented it as their own individual school policy. So some schools have trailblazed it, and they found
our family has trailblazed it.
Made a difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
There's no social media for our children, unfortunately. Curse me if you want, but no social media for little children. Friendships, face-to-face friendships. That's what I want. Help them socialise and grow up balanced.
And of course, that's the whole thing about play. That by and large, it is face-to-face or in a group. So you're learning how to relate to other people from a very young age in a physical and active way.
It's funny you should say that, because that relates to one of the news stories that I'll be telling shortly. So I'm sure you'll have a bit to say on that. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. That's a good point. That's a good point to go to this week's Play in the News. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So this week's Play in the News, and we're going to start in the UK. And the Nerve Lab studies how screen content affects children. The Guardian newspaper reports about the University of the Arts London, who opened Nerve Lab. That's a research facility using wearable brain imaging, motion capture and AI to study how children respond to media and artistic experiences. And one project is analysing children's animated programmes, looking at pacing, colour, loudness, shot frequency and narrative structure to understand their effect on attention, comprehension and emotional response. Children's screen worlds are often sold as fun and entertainment, but this story asked the question, what kind of play is being engineered into children's attention? This connects to digital childhood without becoming a simple screen's bad story. It raises a different question. Who decides children's attention and for what purpose? This story reminds us that digital play is not neutral. Someone designs its pace, noise, reward and emotional pull. It raises questions such as, could children's media be rated not just by content, but how by it manipulates attention? Should play practitioners be part of conversations about children's screen design? Yeah. So next we go to South Africa, where they mark play through early childhood centres. This was reported by UNICEF South Africa and partners, who marked International Day of Play through early childhood development centres, with play events encouraging creativity, exploration and movement. Books, activity books and puzzles were also distributed so play could continue at home. And the campaign highlighted playful parenting, learning through play and healthy play spaces. This is play as early childhood infrastructure, not as a treat after learning, but the method through which young children communicate, regulate, imagine and connect. This frames play as language before full verbal language, especially for young children. Now, as adults, we must remember that before children have all the words, play is one of the ways they speak. And finally, this story raises the question for me of what would caregiver support look like if play was treated as a core public health tool. That's this week's Play in the News. What do you think of those, Sue?
Well, the South African one is absolutely fascinating. As you say, what would happen if? But in a sense, that is one thing that Daisy Play is seeking to do.
Indeed.
To enable adults to play, so that they in turn will be able to play without being embarrassed or self-conscious or feeling rather silly and so on. Because we know there are some bits of play that dads love doing with their kids, particularly electric train sets and model building and things like that. So to be able to make all aspects of play available to mums and dads and all carers of small children, I think is a very worthwhile thing.
There used to be, didn't there, discussions among sort of parenting groups and specialists They used to tell us how we, without realizing it, would, through play equipment and through the ways that we interacted with our children, unconsciously, we were feeding the sort of male female bias, if you like, sort of where, sort of girls were given dolls and boys were given racing cars and all that kind of stuff. And even in the colours, pink fairies for girls and rough and tumble.
There was that piece of research where the boy babies were dressed in pink and the girl babies dressed in blue as a play group.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely noticeable that every baby dressed in blue was held much more firmly and bounced firmly on the knee, whereas the girls were swaddled and rocked and so on.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Based on that colour,
Yeah, yeah. So, maybe, well, the research has shown that there is a kind of bias in that. But it led me to thinking about, do you think, and it sort of links to what you were just saying, do you think that there's a different way that men will play with children than women will play with children? It doesn't matter whether they're boys or girls, but just the way adult men or adult women would play with their children. Is there any difference, do you think?
I think dads are so good at the rough and tumble play part of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest, because of their anatomy, rough and tumble play for women is quite difficult.
Right. Okay.
But for dads, it's a different matter. And kids will jump up and down on their chest and balance on their legs and so on. And rough and tumble play is so good for children.
Mm.
And it also reflects a healthy attachment to have that type of rough and tumble play.
Okay. So it's still together, you still got touch and so on, but it's it's safe and yeah.
And of course, I think mums now, that with a greater freedom, for example, for mums in traditionally male sports, mums playing football, playing cricket, all of those things, is changing their play reaction with their children, because they're permitted now, so to speak, much wider variety of roles.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty examples of mums in parks playing football with their children and so on, and So, although you suggest that there may be differences in how they play, it doesn't mean just because men tend to be good at rough and tumble play that women couldn't do it. There are some physical, I don't even know if they're difficulties, but some difficulties in their bodies to enable that. But they're still just as capable, aren't they? Just as men are just as capable of, doing a lot of sort of traditional women's type of play. But I'm saying that, and I'm thinking, what is a traditional women's type of play? I can't think of one. Can you?
Well, thinking back to when I was very young, the idea that my mum would, for example, teach me embroidery.
Okay, is that play?
Yes, I think embroidery and knitting for children are playful activities. You knit something for your doll, or you embroider an apron to do messy play in, those sorts of things.
Okay.
And people are quite surprised that by the age of 10, I actually knitted a pair of socks on 4 needles.
A 4 needle?
Yes.
That sounds complicated. I thought you only used 2 when you knit.
No, for things like socks.
Right.
Because it's one whole garment, it's not sewn up.
Oh, I see. Right.
So you're knitting like a tube.
Okay.
But at our school, that's what you did. Age 10.
Somebody
when I was
asked me the other
sorry, go on.
somebody asked me the other day what was my favourite subject at school, and I said I had to think about hard actually, and I thought back and I told them it was home economics, which is cookery
Yeah.
essentially. And at our school, the boys were just as much involved in the home economics, or taught home economics just as much as the girls were. But when I said that, I was getting some like, what, you like learning about cookery and stuff? Isn't that a girls' thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, even now people can say that. But yeah, I remember at sort of 10, 11, I was already baking 2 and 3 tier cakes at
Yeah.
that age. Yeah. But
But you see, I
do you
think
get
things
that
have
kind?
also changed when what's the name of that swimmer who, when he isn't swimming, knits?
Oh right, yes. Oh gosh, he was Olympic silver medalist, I think, for Britain, wasn't he?
And I mean, he knits amazing stuff, quite
Mm.
extraordinary. And I think all of a sudden, that's helped to change people's images of gender-defined activities, really.
Yeah. And I think that is the thing, isn't it? There's a lot of confusion between sex and gender. You know, we got the sex, the men and the women, but gendered activities, female and masculine activities, they shouldn't really be, you know, I mean, a man can do most feminine things and a woman can do most masculine things. It doesn't turn them into the opposite sex or anything, but it just,
I mean, what was
you know,
interesting is that so often women were seen as, the chief cook and bottle washer, so to speak. And then suddenly people thought, well, actually, no, you've got chefs as well.
hmm
But it was interesting that for so many years, the star chefs were all male.
I know it's like if you're a man and you cooked, you were given this higher status of chef. But if you were a woman that cooked, you were a cook, weren't you?
I
you
think I
you never
think
had
that
the
began to
title until
change
recently.
with women cookery specialists
Right.
like Prue Leith and the people that are on the television cookery competitions and so on.
Wasn't there something called Beeston or Beat or something like that as well? Yeah, there's a few famous ones. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Careful we don't sort of start on the political side of things. This is a playful podcast, all about play. We're not going into the woke discussion here. Well, not today. Not unless you tell us that's what you want in the comments, and we might oblige.
But we can see that food and cookery can be playful.
Oh, they can, and it's funny, isn't it? I mean, I know you're really into your messy play, in terms of teaching it and also engaging in it as well. Whether it's and most of that can be done through food, sort of doughy stuff and gooey stuff and jelly stuff. I think it's a great activity, and we've talked about it many times. If you need to find something to do with your children, holidays, half terms, weekends, and rather than giving them that iPad, and rather than letting them secretly keep their social media account when it's banned, take a few minutes, get them in the kitchen, give them a load of flour and some water, and get them mixing that dough for you, and putting it into a few shapes. You'll have some great fun. Yeah, and they'll learn a lot too. Yeah. So I don't know if you're still with us, Sue. The internet connection seems to have frozen a little bit.
Oh dear.
Oh, you're still here. Okay.
Yes, 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 I'm
Well,
here.
okay. So yeah, cookery, home economics, recommend it. And I think one of the things I learned, before I left home, and of course you were greatly influential in this. I felt it was important. I think you must have felt that too. Is that learning the skills, or a lot of the skills that you need to sort of live, You learn them before you leave home, and then when you're left home, you've got them all. And I specifically focused on food. So all of my favourite dishes, I made sure I learned how to cook before I left home. Yeah, so I didn't always have to rely on Mum's cooking.
Though I do
Yeah,
remember one day when you were quite appalled.
appalled.
Nothing to do with cooking, but
Okay,
you had some jeans that were too long
right.
and asked me if I would turn them up for you.
Hmm.
And I turned them up with a stapler.
Did you? I can't forget. I can't remember that.
And you were so shocked, but you decided maybe you would learn to sew for yourself.
Yes, well, I mean, we put our children through a lot of embarrassing situations, and probably, I mean, I don't even know if you realised this at the time, but one of the most embarrassing situations that you and my father, so this was a joint thing that you put me through specifically, and actually was the cause of some of the bullying I received at school at an early age. Is you and my father, had gone to work in Germany. You were doing some work in Germany, and you brought back a present for me. And it was Lederhausen,
Oh,
that German leather, no least, leather Lederhausen. And you said, you must wear that to school. That would be a great thing for you to do. An English 6-year-old wearing Lederhausen at school. And I never lived it down. Yeah, I was picked on
no,
quite a lot just for that.
you loathed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Dad and I were sort of so thrilled that we'd found the genuine traditional lederhosen.
Mm, mm.
Why would you not want to wear them? You know,
Why, yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Children's ideas and adults' ideas are often miles apart.
absolutely.
But anyway, I think we have a bit of a dodgy internet connection because you're still frozen on my screen. Hopefully, it's all going to be all right.
Oh
But let's
dear.
draw this podcast to a close. Before we go there, please remember, if you've enjoyed this podcast or the series, can you help us by giving us a like and subscribe to the channel? An additional, if you want to help us some more, then write a comment. Make some suggestions of things that you would like us to talk about. Or if you disagree with anything we say, put that in the comment and we could discuss it in future podcasts. So give us a like, share and subscribe. And now we're going to end, as we end all our podcasts, for those of you that are feeling a bit down, maybe you need to reduce your stress or lessen your anxiety. We try to come up with some playful ideas or activities that you could do on your own or with other people. Sue, what have you got for us this week?
Well, I'm going to share one that's directly related to our theme of food and cooking.
Ah,
And it's no good doing a complicated cookery recipe if you're feeling stressed,
no.
because it will go wrong. You'll forget something or put too much of something in. But a very simple little exercise you can do with one of your children, all of your children, or just for yourself. It's just getting some round shortbread biscuits
Okay.
and mixing some icing cream.
Right.
You know, just simple
Icing
icing,
cream.
sugar and water, mixes it, and it's thick, and you
Right.
can have it different colours, and you can have your food
Mm-hmm.
colouring there.
Mm.
And using an icer, a funnel, or making one just out of paper,
Yeah.
making patterns on the biscuits, dots
Right.
and circles, just
Mm.
personalising your own biscuit. It's really very soothing, and for a
Okay.
child, it's magical to have
Mm.
write their own name on a biscuit.
The personalised biscuit.
The first step of
Yes.
literacy through biscuits, okay?
Literacy through biscuits. Oh, that could be a course, couldn't it? Literacy through biscuits. But do be careful of too much sugar. Sounds
Yes.
like there's an awful lot of sugar there. Yeah, well, great activity. And of course, not only you can do literacy, but you're going to have a nice little snack at the end of the process. So, yeah, love that idea. And I'm sure actually there's ways you could utilize that idea without sweet things. You know, you can use a lot less sugar and use different kinds of sort of savory type biscuits and so on to have a similar result. But finding a sort of a creamy substance that you can squeeze out to write your name, as you say, or something else, a message, a slogan. Yeah, sounds like great fun. Wow. Okay, my simple activity this week is really simple. You need a pen and a paper, and it is literally you're there in the room on your own, and you name 3 things that you can see. Then you name 2 things you can touch. Then you can name 1 thing that you can hear. Once you've done that, take a breath in and breathe out slowly. Simple as that.
Great, Andy.
Yeah,
It really helps
okay.
to focus as well as to
It
relax.
does. But the thing is that when you're focusing on those other things, the anxious thoughts and so on that are in your head go away, certainly during that time, because you're focusing on other things. Okay, Sue, been great to talk with you again this week. Look forward to our next discussion. But for now, let's leave our viewers with Don't Forget to Play.
No, don't forget to play.
Okay.
Okay,
All right then.
bye-bye.
Bye.